Wednesday evening. Beautiful weather. So the result of my shopping trip, I have the fitting that I hope will fit for the fuel line. I was in the hardware store and couldn't find it. Actually wandered over into another section, and there it was sitting on the shelf. The only one of its kind in the store, I believe. But I got what I want. Also bought a couple of Dremel attachments for future project. But this is the good boy for today. Wow, that piece does not fit at all. I'm way off on the size. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm going to measure it again. Try it again. Try to get another one. So I measured the valve in this. I still get 1/2 inch and 5/8. So I'm going to try a different store. But I think what I'll do, since I'm here and daylight's going to be gone soon, I'm going to put the fuel that I have into the fuel tank. So I put the stopper back in. I'm not sure why, just in case. I don't know, dust, mice, anything. Now that I have a working bilge blower, I run it while I'm fueling. The first thing I want to see is no fuel leak. Yay! It's not to say that there won't be one once I hook up the fuel lines, but at least we're starting off with that one. That's good. I just put 7 gallons of fuel in the tank. So it's Wednesday evening. I'm leaving. I transferred the fuel. I found that the piece I spent the time going to the store to buy was mislabeled. And I'm going to now go try to find another store. So I don't have to make this trip on the way down tomorrow, because tomorrow my son-in-law is meeting me. He's going to help me with some of the rigging stuff. But I mean, I did get a couple things knocked off the checklist, but I didn't feel like I got anything done because I still don't have the engine running. That's important. I'm tentatively planning on heading down the river on Sunday, which means I have a lot to do. So I picked up another one of these brass fittings. Oh, it's Thursday afternoon. I picked up another one of these brass fittings. I'm going to see if it fits in the fuel line. Okay, so this one doesn't fit either. So I think I'm looking at the wrong dimensions on the packages. Because this, although it's different, it's not much smaller than the other one, which is, they're both way too big. So next time I go in there, I'm going to bring my tape measure right inside. This is getting silly. I'm losing another day. I mean, I work during the day and then only have a few minutes at night to do this stuff. Well, that's disappointing. Okay, action.
Land ho!
Okay. Let's go out to dinner. It'll be fine. Right outside my window. They got really quiet when they saw me. Good morning. Sunday morning. It's the day before Memorial Day. I did not get down to the boat yesterday. I had a family event that I went to. Basically went over to my sister's house, and when the grandchild was there, had to see the grandchild, of course. It was raining, as it is today. It's raining right now. But I figured I had 3 days this weekend. I'll use 2. Top priority today is the fuel line. I'm going to bring the little plastic plug that is sitting in the fuel tank to cover that hole, and bring that with me in hand into the store and use that to size a proper fitting for the fuel line. And I hope I get it right this time. This was going to be the day that we brought the boat from Portland down to Old Saybrook, but due to weather and the fact that I wasn't done with a lot of things, that's being put off till next week. So hopefully next Sunday we'll make our little trip, which we always enjoy. We always enjoy it when the weather's good when we do it. Other than that, not necessarily. So it's raining down here. And when I arrived, the cockpit had about 4 inches of water in it because both drains were clogged. Just stuff on the surface. You know, those little tree flyers there. There were some stuck in both. I just scooped it out with my hand, 10 seconds, and it was draining. There's also a lot of little bugs flying around the entrance here. Hopefully they'll stay out there. And this is why duct tape is not a good temporary barrier against water. When I was working on the mast, I might have kicked it, put a tear in it. It's just not very strong in that way. So you see, I left the table over there thinking it was going to get wet, and it would have. But the leaks seem to be confined just a couple of spots. But you can see the water coming in down through the mast too, inside. That's expected though. You always get some of that. So I'm curious how this build's doing. That's starting to rise a little bit. Hopefully the pump will kick on. We'll take care of that. So here's that little plug I was talking about. That's kind of tight. I'm going to have this in hand when I go up to the store so I don't get the size wrong again. Hopefully. I wish I had something similar for the other side. You know, to have one of those thread kits, thread detectives. I'll see if I have anything that fits that. Then I'll know the inside threaded dimension for both ends, because this is one. I should aim the camera at what I'm talking about. So this is one from right here. Now I need something for that. All right, so this is the one that fit. 1/2 inch. I don't think the thread was 20 though. I'm gonna try it again just to make sure. It did screw down a ways, but it didn't seem to stop. I'm gonna see if it's shallow or if it's the wrong thread. At least I know it's 1/2 inch. That's what I thought it was when I measured it. 1/2 inch, but this sort of confirms it. Well, that little experiment has led me to believe that my initial measurements of 5/8 to 1/2 inch were actually correct. So I'm obviously doing it wrong on the purchasing side because the pieces I have in here are way too big. So one of them is 3/4 to 7/8. So armed with this knowledge and with this piece of plastic, I'm going to look for my raincoat and then go try again. Also, Bernie told me a trick for trying to replace this hinge. Oh, a bunch of geese just landed pretty loud. They all splashed down at once. So as I was saying, Bernie told me a way to basically figure out what size piece of metal I need for that. It was very easy once I understood what he was saying. Basically said use an index drill set, kind of with the numbers on them. I don't know if you can see the numbers, but they're numbered. In this one, it's 12 to 1, left to right, and there's a bunch more of them. And said, you know, find the index that fits, because these are very similar. I mean, they're very close together in size. So find the one that fits easily in the middle one, and at the end where it's pinched in to hold the thing in place, you know, make sure it's tight there, you know, not loose, but loose in here. So I'll see what we can find. So here we have drill bit number 6. Fits through this one, and then you go into this one, it doesn't really fit through it. So maybe number 6 is the when I want. I don't want to push it too hard because I want to make sure I can get it out. I think it could be number 6. Wow, I need to pay attention to what I'm doing. This is number 5, not number 6. It's hard to see the numbers on them. It was in the number 5 spot in the drill box. Yeah, that's a 5. Okay. Today I also brought down this new mast boot wrap stuff. There's a lot more of it than the last roll, which is good. The last roll, if you remember, had 1.1 meters, which is nothing. This is better. Anyway, we'll give this a try, but again, we can't do it until it gets stops raining. Also, it allows it to store to get that brass piece, which I'll show you in a second. Put some cookies to go with my lunch because you can only eat so many turkey sandwiches in a row over the days. I bought this fitting thinking it might be close. So even if it doesn't fit, I'm going to be able to walk into the next store and say something close to this, but it's only because of this and this. Anyway, let's see. Well, that fits there. Now I'll try the other end in the tank. Might have a winner. That goes all the way in. I'm not sure that's supposed to, but I need to take a look inside. I'll use the camera. Can't really see much. Looks kind of dark in there. So it looks like the holes in the bottom. So gotta be careful that all those threads don't just cover up that hole. Maybe this thing is too long. I don't know. Good question. Is it this end that goes in? Yeah, it's this end that goes in. So maybe I want this piece is good, but it's got to be a little shorter on this end. So I think this is going to be good. I'm going to run up and see if the mechanic is there to talk to. I'm going to ask him about this piece covering the hole, or if that's what this beveling is for. I just don't know. Won't hurt to ask. But before I do, we're going to have the gourmet portion of our day. There's no table set up, so I'm going to eat standing up at the ladder. And just like all good YouTubers do, I'll show you my wonderful meal. I have water, I have an apple, and I have turkey sandwiches. I bet you're all jealous. Oh, and I also have cookies. Late purchase, not part of the original plan. So there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is that the fuel is going up through the fuel system, and you can hear the fuel pump running right now. I don't know if you can hear the clicking or not, but and it's being returned to the tank properly, and because I have the bleed valve open right now, and the motor starts, which is good. The bad news is it doesn't stay running. It runs for a few minutes and then it dies. Or sometimes it runs for a few minutes and the RPMs go way down to next to nothing, comes up a little bit more, and then dies. So I think I have an air problem in the line somewhere. And I'm going to make some calls and ask for some advice because I don't really know much about that problem. I know how to get the system bled all the way up to the injectors, which is what I did. But I still think there's some bubbles that come up from the air filters every now and then. So I'm not sure what's going on. But it's progress. It is progress. And it did start and it did run. The bypass piping I did in the lazarette, because where the engine water system, cooling system hoses went through the water heater, I bypassed that. They're not leaking. Nothing else seems to be leaking. The fuel system seems to be fine. So hopefully it's just air. And once that's licked, it pretty much stays licked for the whole season. So I'll keep at it. Right now I'm running it through I'm running the fuel through the system. As I said, pumped up through the Raycor and the fuel filter, and then up to where the injectors start, and then there's a valve there, which I opened, and it puts the fuel back into the tank through the return line. So I'm not losing any fuel while I'm just trying to coax the bubbles out of the system. So I get it running, runs for a while, and it stops. I open the bleed valve, let the fuel run through for a while, close the bleed valve, the pump slows down to a crawl like it always does, then I can start it again, and it goes. Although the RPMs is a little bit erratic. A little bit, not bad. But at some point it's going to start going down, 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 and just stall. I'm glad to see a nice exhaust stream with the water. Whoops, there it goes. And this is what happens. Idles for a bit and then it stops. Well, a fuel pump does something like that. Which makes me think that it's starved. And I open the bleed valve, and it runs a little bit. The sound normalizes. I close it, and it sounds like normal. Click, 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 click. That's it. And that's the cycle. Happy Memorial Day. It's Monday morning. I spoke with Bernie last night on the phone, and he told me what I did wrong on the fuel line. So, yes, it's my fault. So I'm going to start by taking this piece back out. Okay, what I was told. A, do not use plumber's tape on fuel lines. Use plumber's dope. So I have to get some of that. B, flared fittings are made to match up with flare fittings. He said these threads are slightly different. They will never seal. So that could explain why it was pulling in air. So he also said be very, very careful to get all the plumber's tape out of not just off of the piece you're putting, well, because this isn't going back on, but also make sure to get it out of the hole. And I'll do that when I come back with a new piece. Okay, I got tired of going to stores. I couldn't find these in brass anywhere. I got them in black metal. I know that this is the wrong kind of metal to use on the boat. I will only put this in place to get the engine running. I will then order replacement parts. Now that I have the right sizes, I can get them off the internet and know I'm getting the right things. And then I'll just replace these at some point during the season. Oh, you get some more crap out of there. So what a colossal waste of a day. I managed to get these pieces for temporary, but and now I'm using them for sizing, but I need the brass versions and I need them without the tapered threads. So I'm going to try to order them online since no stores seem to carry this stuff, at least none that are open on weekends. If I can't get these things delivered by like Wednesday or Thursday, I think I'm going to contact the yard and ask them to hook it up. They'll have the parts and they have the expertise. And when they fix things, they pretty much stay fixed, which is a nice feature. So I got almost nothing done. I got pretty much nothing done today. I got some plumber's dope, which I'll have for the future, but and I'll have this for the jar of extra parts to go with all the other parts that I bought and can't use. But no progress was made today. Yeah. Actually, another thing I can do is Bernie asked me to measure the width of the gauges because we have to get a new temperature gauge, and he wanted to know if it was a 2-inch or a 2 1/4. So I can do that. It's got a little rainwater in there. I don't know where it's coming from. Something to keep an eye on. Just got to take this cover off. There's the inside of that cover. That's kind of nasty looking. And besides the back cover, I had to take off the front cover too. But now I can measure it easily. So the old gauge is 2 inches wide. Now I know what to tell Bernie. So I pop out of my hole and the sky has turned sunny and blue. It's gotten a lot warmer. It was cold all day. And now is the time I should get out the hose and wash off the boat. But I was invited to my daughter's for dinner, so I'm going to do that instead. I'll have to come down during the week and take care of those details. And while I'm visiting her, I'll ask her whatever happened to these doors.